Hi everybody, welcome to AI TV. We're broadcasting live from AI Expo Africa 2020 online, the COVID edition. We've taken our media center into the realm of Zoom to meet some of the speakers and the sponsors and the thought leaders that have made the show the success it was last week. We're now in an on-demand mode with the show. It's going to run for another 30 days. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome Kevin Derman, who's the CEO and founder of Kaskade Cloud. They're based in Johannesburg. And welcome, Kevin, to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you, Nick. Doing great, thank you. It was great being at the show and looking forward to chatting to you today.
Well, Kevin, I mean, you've been in the cloud space for quite a number of years now, and obviously Kaskade's been pioneering with both large customers and small, newer customers that are coming onto the market. What sort of trends are you seeing with the customer base you're dealing with and the kinds of services that you're offering right now?
Nick, I think the cloud space and in particular the AI space is a absolutely fascinating one. Generally, from a South African point of view, the market has tended to trail a bit behind, say, the North American market with regards to cloud technology. We've typically been 12 to 18 months behind. But I'm really encouraged to see the kind of things that companies are wanting from us these days. So it's no longer just let's migrate to the cloud, but it's looking for that competitive edge. It's looking for what are the insights that our data can bring to us. It's not only about let's lift and shift and just move it to a server in the cloud. So what we're seeing is many customers looking to how they can leverage their data, and in leveraging their data, use machine learning technology to actually bring them insights that can make them more competitive, that can bring them additional revenue in their businesses as well.
Yeah, and are you seeing, I mean, a big customer or most customers may not necessarily be on one cloud. They may be on multiple clouds. How do you work with that as a supplier?
Sure. So customers are generally would have some kind of infrastructure somewhere, and they really we classify them into two main buckets. The one bucket is the customer doesn't actually care what technology you're utilizing. All that they're really interested in is the outcome, and it's always nice to have that kind of customer, because then you can use the technology that you feel is fit for that particular case. But we work with the major hyperscale clouds. So if you look at AWS and you look at Azure and Microsoft side, they are the leaders in the space, and they have a fantastic range of artificial intelligence and machine learning platforms and tools that you can actually utilize. So it really gives you enough scope to do whatever you need to do in that particular space, whether you want to just set up a machine learning instance, bring your own algorithms to it, or whether you want to use what we typically call democratized AI, which is AI that's very available. For example, image recognition software or creating chatbots, etc. Those things are readily accessible on both platforms.
So obviously you've been in this industry for quite a while, Kevin. I mean, the more recent developments with making, as you say, the democratization of AI and some of the service at the service level, literally plug and play or API type call these days. What are the top sort of 2 or 3 requirements that you're being asked to implement in the AI landscape and the landscape of the business user?
Difficult question, because each use case that we find that we're dealing with has a different requirement. However, in saying that, I would say when we look at what is very easily accessible, things like chatbots are very accessible for companies, and I think they can have a very big impact in terms of customer service. So if you're looking for something that your business wants to utilize artificial intelligence, and you're looking for a very quick ROI on the project, I would recommend something like looking at a chatbot for your website, so looking at for your call center or your ticketing system, so you can deal with customers in a very quick fashion and have it available 24/7. Things like anomaly detection, Also a great area. If you're looking at forecasting technology, there's a lot that we can do in that, and these projects don't have to cost millions for the company, and it don't have to take 2 years to implement. And I think that's one of the key things, is that many companies, especially on the SME and the SMB side, are staying away from artificial intelligence or machine learning because they think it's exorbitantly expensive, number one, and it's going to take them years to get an ROI. And it's not really the case. We can implement these projects in a short time span, and our aim is to get you to get a return on that investment as quickly as possible, and to increase your competitive advantage in the market.
Yeah, that's really interesting, Kevin. I mean, I was speaking to Thavash Govinda from Microsoft in the interview just before I interviewed you.
Right.
And we were talking about the challenge of, the people within, the staff within some of the hyperscaler companies like Microsoft, AWS, that, that they themselves struggle to keep up with the rate of innovation and service creation that they're actually doing within their own businesses. So that's a challenge that you guys have as well. How do you keep up as a supplier? Because obviously the customer is probably even further removed from that level of innovation. You guys get the inside view about what's coming down the pipe. I mean, can you summarize, what is going on in this vast area of R&D and development and product innovation?
Yes, so I think continuous learning is anybody who's in the technology space has essentially bought into a commitment of continuous learning. You cannot stop, and I'm sure you know this as well. Yeah, you cannot stop for any amount of time. You've got to continuously be looking at what the vendors are doing, and you've got to continuously innovate around the products that they bring you. To me, it makes it the most exciting space to be in. I think anybody who is in technology these days is in an extremely fortunate position, because we will always have something to sell. If you look at other industries, and I always give an analogy to flooring, for example. If you're selling tiles, you might have a new pattern or a design that comes out, but it doesn't move as fast as IT does, and it's not going to stop. We're on a trajectory that is an exponential curve for innovation. And if we look for the next 30 years, I think we're going to be having unprecedented levels of acceleration in the technology that we're going to be using. So that means continuously learning, continuously looking for better ways of doing things. So it's a great space to be in. We enjoy it, and we love the challenge and creativity that these solutions provide us in looking at our customers' businesses and how we can help them decrease costs and increase their ability to generate revenue as well.
Yeah, I mean, just to wrap up, Kevin, I mean, you gave a great talk on the AWS, the Swiss Army knife, I think was the title, correct me wrong.
Correct, yes.
But yeah, look, I mean, these at the service level, when you look at what's in the box, these things now are like Swiss Army knives. But I guess really the art in all of this is helping the customers navigate which of the blades to open from the knife for a given challenge. So as you say,
yes.
I think the challenges and the use cases are only going to go in one direction, up, and your ability and my ability to keep up with that is also one of the challenges. Just bringing it back to, a sort of final comment on the online format. Now, we've all had to move to some form of online interaction this year, us included with the show. How did you actually find the online conference? Was this the first one, or have you done other ones?
No, we've done others, and Nick, I must say, I think the platform was great. The AI Expo Africa was a great experience, both from a presenter and from attending the conference and going to some of the other talks. I was really encouraged by the amount of interaction that people had at the expo, and it was so interesting to see. I mean, we used to going to these international conferences and everybody hanging around in the lounges and having networking, and it was so great to see that the same experience existed there. And I hung around in the the lounges for a while and had a few chats to other people, and people were saying, come and listen to this talk and come and listen to that talk, and you could engage.
Okay.
So I found it an incredibly engaging experience. It really was good. Kudos to you guys for putting on a great expo, and for a platform that really it just worked. There were no issues. It was a great experience.
Well, Kevin, we look forward to welcoming you back again next year. I think you've spoken at all of our conferences, and it's always great to have your insights and input into our program. Wishing you well for the rest of the year, and hopefully we'll see you next year. But thank you for joining us on AI TV today.
Thank you, Nick.
And yeah, we'll wrap it up there.
Awesome.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks
Cheers.
so much. Bye.